I'm standing here in Soloheadbeg Quarry. It was here on the morning of the 21st of January 1919 that a convoy consisting of 2 RIC men and a number of council workers were supposed to bring a shipment of gelignite explosives to the quarry to be used here. But those men never made it. They were ambushed by members of the 3rd Tipperary IRA Brigade, consisting of figures including Séamus Robinson, Dan Breen, Seán Treacy and Seán Hogan, and a number of other men whose names I cannot remember at the moment, unfortunately, but their names are recorded at the ambush site. So on the 21st of January, the shipment around noon the shipment was brought up. It was being brought from Tipperary military barracks along a very narrow country road, and it reached the ambush site where the ambush sprung into action. They stopped, and the IRIC members were told to lay down their weapons, but it's believed that at least one of them tried to raise their weapon, and in doing so both of them were shot and killed, becoming the first official victims of the War of Independence. And it was on the same day that the ambush took place that the first Dáil meeting took place in Dublin. And this was just coincidence, because the 10 RIA members had been lying in ambush since around the 16th of January, because they had word that the gelignite was originally going to be brought on the 16th of January. But they lay in ambush then for up to 6 days, coming in the morning, very early in the morning, and staying until around 1 or 2 p.m. So they knew after this that the shipment wouldn't be coming. And on the final day of the ambush, at around noon, one of the members noticed that the gelignite was being moved. I'll cross the road here so I'll get run over. That the gelignite was being moved from Tipperary barracks, and it would have been brought down towards the quarry, but they never made it there. Now, both men that were shot and killed, the RIC men, they were natives of Ireland, which was normal for RIC members at the time. One was from County Mayo and the other was from County Cork, and they were Catholics as well, so people often mistake that the RIC must have been men from England, or at least entirely made up of Protestants, which doesn't really make a difference. But sometimes people believed that's how it was structured, but it wasn't. So there was 10 men involved. 4 of them would eventually become known as the Big Four: Seán Hogan, Seán Treacy, Dan Breen and Séamus Robinson. They would make their way up to Dublin because they were on the run following this ambush, and they would have been involved in a number of attacks involving the squad and Michael Collins' units, ambushing British spies and members of G Division up in Dublin. And then another major event that they were all involved in was the Knocklong rescue, when Seán Hogan he'd been arrested after a night of partying, I believe, and that was a Knocklong rescue, but that was another episode. And this is the location of the Soloheadbeg ambush. So the main party was hiding here. There was 10 men, and then Séamus Robinson, who was the commander, was a little further up, just in case the ambush party got by. Originally they thought there was going to be 6 RIC members, all armed, but there was only 2. Now, the men involved are Séamus Robinson, who was the commander, Seán Treacy, who was the main organiser, Dan Breen. We'll get the names now. I'm going to read out these names because there's Ty Crow, Patrick McCormick, Patrick O'Dwyer and Michael Ryan. So they were all the 10 members involved, and 4 of those would go on to be known as the Big Four. Seán Treacy, I'll turn this around. Seán Treacy, of those 4, Seán Treacy would end up being killed in a shootout on Talbot Street in Dublin, where there's a small plaque that commemorates him. But this is the location of the first attack of the War of Independence.